It would be nice if it was a little more overt, the attempt to get your single friends together.
Yes, tell me who is going to be single at this wedding. Welcome back to another episode of Girls Gotta Eat.
It's a beautiful day.
The sun is shining. The flowers are blooming. New York is back, baby.
We're back. My patio is almost complete. I did a whole glow up out there. I'm going to do a before and after. Never gave you guys a home tour, but I'll do a patio tour, you know?
People ask us for home tours all the time. What if you were like, this is my home?
This is my, I live here. I live out here in a hammock.
That's the size of my first apartment in New York City. It's not so big. The apartment I lived in was so small. It was a twin bed.
It is so big.
And a dresser.
It's obscene out there. I would love a bigger closet, but here we are.
Nope. They were like, don't make it bigger on the inside. Keep it small on the inside.
But anyway, yeah, I have, I'm going to do a before and after. I've really been working out these last few weeks.
You got before and after?
No, I'm saying I'm going to do like a before. Yeah, I shot the before. I've already, I did a whole
body makeover.
Redecoration, a reno.
Revenge patio. That's Ashley's new show. You go to people's places, you're like, your man left you, redo the patio.
The revenge patio. Okay.
All right.
Wedding episode today.
Full wedding theme, start to finish.
Can't wait.
Going to talk about your brother's wedding?
Yes.
Other people's weddings?
Other people's weddings. We have a wedding coach.
Yep.
And we ended up chatting with her a little bit about Florida. She's a bachelorette in Florida in July. And
Ashley, you roasted her so hard.
We roasted her so hard. So sorry to Jamie Lee, because we were like, who goes to Florida in July? That being said, we will be in Florida in May. That's the cutoff. You got to go before mid-May.
Before Memorial Day to Labor Day, there is a stop on Florida.
I used to go in June every year for my friend Laura's birthday. We would go and I think we went 3 or 4 years in a row, and 2 of the years were fine. They were manageable. We had the best time also, but the last year I could not live. It's just too hot.
You're at the equator, which we will later make fun of her about.
Okay. Anyway, but that's a teaser. But anyway, guys, Florida shows. There might be a few tickets left or not. I don't know, but check it out. Miami, May 2nd, Tampa, May 5th, Orlando, May 6th. So get your tickets. 2 shows every night. There's an early and a late show at girlsgottaeatpodcast.com. We cannot wait to see you guys there. These shows, I got outfits, titties out, jumpers, rompers.
So and you guys get to hear about sandals, all the shit that we've been doing all year that we haven't talked about on record. Ashley's like, I'm not done. Fried shrimp, grilled shrimp, roast shrimp.
Highlights, contours.
The last time we did shows in Florida, we were late to the venue because Ashley was taking nudes for the guy she was dating.
God! We were not just late. We were already running late, and then we were halfway to the Tampa Improv, and we had forgotten something. We were double late.
We forgot makeup, and then because you
we forgot the dongle.
I forgot makeup. That's right.
I forgot the dongle. It was just it's not important. But that was the most I ever felt like a diva, where we walked in and they were like, we're scrambling because you girls showed up 5 minutes before the show started.
Ashley was like, I was taking nudes. Also, those nudes were good.
Oh, I know. Okay. Do you want to know my dream?
A dream that you had? No. But your life dream.
Yeah. that guy one day, they're not nudes. They're scantily clad. I don't do pussy out, whatever.
Girl, same.
I'm wearing next to nothing. I would love if that guy tried to blackmail me. And then I had a reason to release my own nudes, because I think that's such a power move. If he was like, hey, remember those nudes you sent me in 2019? I give me $100,000 or whatever. And then I'd be like, I'm going to release them myself. And then that would be such a power move. But I feel weird posting them otherwise. Maybe I'll make it up.
Maybe you'll make it up. That is 100% something you would do. He wouldn't even reach out.
Everybody knows.
You would make a feed post and be like, guys, somebody's trying to blackmail me for $100,000. So I'm posting this nude. I've been trying to get you to post the nude that you took in Australia. I've been trying to get you to post that nude from Australia for a year now.
This is so embarrassing. We've been talking about this nude for a year.
Hear me out. That guy is a huge loser. He is definitely going to blackmail you. So
what? No,
let's just wait it out.
Well, no, we're the nude from Australia. No guy ever got it.
I know, but I'm just saying that other guy will blackmail you for sure.
You think he's listening?
He doesn't have a home or probably a way to listen.
It's also not even that sexy. If those turned up on the internet, I would be amazing.
I would text that photo to my dad. It wasn't even that salacious of you. My dad of you. He wants to know.
All right, guys, we'll get those tickets. girlsgottypodcast.com. We can't wait to see you. Maybe I'll put it up on the screen in Florida. You know what I mean? Here's what happened last time I was here.
I think I have some D-pics to put up on the screen. Okay. Florida. I don't know what we're doing.
All right.
We'll see.
We'll just wait it out. Okay, we have another fun announcement. Right
oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Thank you so much.
For what?
So guys, really exciting. Ashley and I can't wait to do this on Thursday, April 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We are hosting an Instagram live with Bright Cellars.
Yes.
We have been working with them for a while. We love them. You order wine online. It comes in a box. You enter all these things that you like. Do you like white? Do you like red? Do you like sweet? Do you like dry? And they hand select wines for you. They send it in a box. We're going to be co-hosting an Instagram live with you guys. We're going to be taking questions. We're going to make it super fun. Again, Bright Cellars sponsoring the happy hour, and they're giving you 50% off your first 6-bottle order, plus a corkscrew, plus a bonus 7th bottle of wine.
I've seen this for the first time.
We didn't even get the 7th bottle, okay?
I don't have a corkscrew.
Guys, corkscrews. Can't recommend this
I'm
enough.
honestly jealous of whoever.
I'll buy you a corkscrew.
One of y'all
Bright Cellars will send us a corkscrew?
one of the listeners will send it to me.
I'll give you Ash's address and one of you can bring it over. But you guys place the order so we can all enjoy Bright Cellars together during the happy hour. You guys will go to brightcellars.com/GGE, get your wine matches and complimentary corkscrew. Since we started working with them, I get a box from them every month. I love it. I always have wine at home. I always try new and different things. They sent me a lot of reds this month. If you don't like a bottle, they'll replace it in your next order.
And then you rate them all. So then they kind of start to match your taste more and more. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I always say, I feel like I'm the adult I always aspired to be because I just have wine in my home all the time now. You know, like the one we had last night, you came over last night, Rob was here. This white was one of the best whites I've had in so long. Like I've told them, especially during the winter, I told them I wanted more Barberas and they were sending me those. Like they're just incredible. And so we are so excited. We're just going to, I mean, listen, it's rare that we do like a show type of thing where we are drinking. So this is kind of like, we're going to drink. Like it is going to be a happy hour, start to finish. If we do it for an hour, like we're going to be a little lit towards the end.
However long it takes, I will be slurring by the end of it.
Yeah.
Also, how nice was it last night where I was like, I'll bring a bottle over and you're like, I got tons here already. Like be that kind of adult.
I know. So yeah, like Rayna said, guys, go to brightcellars.com/GGE now. So you can get that wine for the happy hour, which like we said, is going to be Thursday, April 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. That's going to kick off an amazing weekend. We'll be in Florida later that weekend. So end of April or early into May, we're like so excited. So I love that we're doing kind of like an end of April, spring,
April pop off.
HH.
So check that out. Here's the last thing that you guys can do for us. We haven't asked for it a long time. If you guys will go on iTunes, leave a rating, just click that 5-star. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to type anything. Just hit the 5 stars. We haven't asked for this in like years, and I keep meaning to, and we would love it if you would support the show by doing that.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about our weekend.
I'm so excited it's happening.
You got sad like I got sad.
I did not expect this. Okay, so we were in Delaware with your whole family for 4 days.
Yeah.
And when I'm with a huge group of people, I'm always like, I really just like want to get away from people. I love that moment of silence when you're finally home and not talking to people because you've expended all of your emotional capital. All I wanted to do was sit in silence. The minute I got to home and sat in silence, I was so sad the entire day.
Yeah.
You almost convinced me to go back.
well, Matt, this is for my brother's wedding, for my brother Matt's wedding. He had a bunch of food left over and he sent me a photo of these potatoes. If you go to a Big Fish grill in Delaware or some of the other restaurants in that restaurant group, Summer House being one of them, they have these potatoes called Neva's potatoes. They're basically like mac and cheese potatoes. I had them Friday and Saturday nights. Yeah. And he sent me he was like, they gave us the leftover food from the wedding and he sent me like a picture of this giant like aluminum tray of it. And I was like, Rayna, we got to go back.
Ashley, you go, they gave that to you? And he goes, yeah, we paid for it, Ashley.
So yeah, I mean, we were, I'm just going to talk a little bit about it. You know, this is a wedding theme episode. Rayna and I are coming off a wedding that was like really so special. I mean, I officiated the wedding. I could talk about that a little bit, but this was my brother, Matt, marrying this wonderful woman, Stephanie. We love her. Rayna came with me, but like not as my date. You had your own invitation. Like, you know, we both had plus ones. We didn't even bring dates. Like you were your own guest.
I will say when you are as such as an important part of the wedding, like you were the officiant, if you are a bridesmaid, it's nice to bring somebody that like knows your family and doesn't need you all weekend. Because it would have sucked if I didn't know your family and I was just like stuck with all.
Well, you're just like part of the family.
Yeah,
like
I
I
had
didn't
my
even
own
see you
invite.
off the weekend. Like I was just like, I got to go do this thing. You're like, I'm just going to hang out with here with Buck and Lindsay. We'll get to it. But yeah, I wanted to just address a couple of things up top. I mean, you know, obviously I just wanted to talk about this in light of COVID. This was their original wedding date. So it was really stressful this past year trying to figure out what to do. I mean, there were certainly points where they were like, we're not going to do this wedding if it doesn't feel safe, obviously. You know what I mean? If people can't get vaccinated and we can't have, you know, we'll do it small. We will cancel the venue. Thank God they didn't. It was a beautiful venue, but you know, they were willing to let go of that and just do a small ceremony with just family. Or I mean, Matt would have gone down to the courthouse. You know, they just wanted to get married and they wanted to do it on their date. So luckily, you know, the vaccine happened. The wedding was half of what it was supposed to be guest wise. So they chopped the guest list in half. So it was still a lot less people than originally. That, you know, they obviously followed the Delaware, all the regulations in terms of the venue and everything. And it felt a little normal. I mean, everybody there I talked to had been vaccinated. I mean, all of our older family members, parents, aunts, uncles, all those people have been vaccinated for months now. I mean, my aunt and uncle have been done since January. I mean, every guest I talk to, you know, they've got a lot of friends that are essential workers, you know, they're nurses, teachers, work in the service industry. You know, Delaware has been really great with the vaccine. We've had our vax, and of course there's going to be risk, you know, associated with COVID for quite a while. But in terms of being around a bunch of people that had been vaccinated and felt really safe, to have like a quote unquote normal feeling wedding was really, really special. So I feel like we're going to start to see that more and more. And again, it wasn't some huge blowout, hundreds of people. It was half of what it was supposed to be. And
it was also fully outside,
mostly outdoor. Yeah. You know, like really open air, and people, you know, were distancing and whatnot. We wore masks when we were going in and out of places and stuff like that. But, you know, people couldn't make it. They did a Zoom, they did a live stream, you know, people from other countries. My cousin, for example, you know, she lives in Amsterdam. She hasn't gotten a vaccine. She didn't feel comfortable coming. You know, that certainly happened, and that was a bummer, but it felt nice. It felt safe. It was in Lewis, Delaware, which is about 15 minutes from Dewey. It was at a place called Hopkins Heartland, which was actually formerly called the Covered Bridge Inn, but it was beautiful. It was perfect. They got married in a barn. My parents got married in a barn. So it was just like, that's on brand for us. You know, it was stunning. I do have to say, I do want to plug the photographer.
Love it.
Because this is the ultimate shoot your shot. His name is Adam Mason. Mason Photography is his Instagram if you want to check him out. He's incredible. His photos are incredible. They're
never seen better wedding
good.
photos.
He is a fan of ours. I think he's married. He lives in DC and around DC, and he had heard about us from friends. I can't remember the whole story. Bottom line, he had been following me and you and Girls Gotta Eat prior to Matt even getting engaged. And the night of the engagement, Christmas Eve 2019, you know, they got engaged. He slid into my DMs and was like, congrats to your family and your brother. I'd love to shoot that wedding. I was like, damn, Adam, like night of the engagement. He slid in there and I didn't know him. I looked at his work. I thought he was great. And I sent it to Matt. I'm like, no pressure. I don't know this person. I appreciate him shooting a shot and you can check him out. And Matt loved him. And he was just incredible. I mean, I feel like that's one of the most important parts of the wedding is like the photos.
Guys, that's all you have left.
Yeah.
And Matt really had a lot of nice things to say about it. Like hot take, you know, get a photographer you like. But Matt and I were talking, he was like, that guy made me feel so comfortable. And it's like, you guys should always work with photographers to just make you feel good. Cause I mean, that's all you have at the end of the day, you know? And he has a great guy named Elliot McGuire. He's a Dewey guy that he did like their video and stuff like that. But those are just a couple things I want to mention. I mean, it was so much fun. We stayed in a beach house in Dewey with the family. Some people stayed at a hotel and it was just great. I mean, it was such an honor for me to like officiate the wedding. I wrote the whole ceremony and I asked them, do you guys want to do your own vows? And they said, no, like we want to say the traditional vows, like I, Matt, take thee, Stephanie, yada, yada, through sickness and health, all that stuff. But I basically emailed them separately and asked them a bunch of questions. I Googled some for inspo, like, what does marriage mean to you? How can you be the best partner? You know, what do you see in your future? Yada, yada. And like, kept those, you know,
they emailed me back separately, so they didn't see them. And then I kind of incorporated them to the ceremony. And so basically like vows that I was kind of reading and they were hearing for the first time. And that's just like kind of how I did it. And I had like jokes and stuff in there. I asked them, I was like, do you have any funny shout outs at the wedding? Like people want to do like a light little roast, and they sent me people. So I was able to like incorporate those. No one saw that coming. It was just really good. I mean, I got a lot of questions of like how I did it, and that was how I did it.
You guys, it was so special. I just want to hype her. It was the most special wedding ceremony I've ever seen. Like what an honor to like have your sibling do that. And, you know, to not just be like a bridesmaid, to actually like marry them. When I did not cry that much at the wedding. I cried when I saw you walk down like the farm and like just like walk outside, and you wrote such a special speech. And it was, I told you this before, but it was funny, but it wasn't pandering. It wasn't like you were trying to get a bunch of attention. It really was about Matt and Steph. It was beautiful. It was short. It was the perfect amount of time. I loved it. I think that more people should do. I don't know why they don't do more stuff like this. If you're not looking for a religious ceremony, it is really such an incredible thing to have like a sibling do that, because that's something that you and Matt will have forever.
Yeah. Thanks for saying all that. It was really special. If you guys are curious, it's super easy to get ordained. I used the Universal Life Church online. It took 30 seconds. There's no even like questionnaire.
Oh, I know.
It's just, but you have to buy like a package. And then this is so funny. I got like my packet with like my certificate and my little card. And then in there was like a parking pass.
Oh yeah, I have that in my bag. I give it back to you. The minister parking pass.
Rayna was like, if we don't have this parking pass in the car, I'm not driving around with you.
Going.
So I mean, it was so fun. I mean, I think like some of my favorite moments, like even just at the weekend, were like just hanging out with you and my family. Like, I feel like one of my favorite moments was just us sitting in the sunroom of the beach house with my mom and my two aunts and just laughing, roasting my mom.
Your mom really set the tone for the wedding. And I was telling you guys this, like, she just was so chill and laid back and like sort of like go with the flow. I'm not saying this behind my mom's back. I called her and told her my mom would have been screaming her head off all weekend, insisting on an itinerary and a timetable and just bitching at everybody. I was like, Mom, these people are not like us. Like, your mom was so chill and laid back. You were so chill and laid back. And I think it really set the tone to like allow everybody to really enjoy themselves. And like, I think everything is in perspective that like, we're just lucky to have a wedding right now. You know, we're so lucky to be together. This is so special. I think the day was like really about them.
Yeah.
It was great.
I just think, again, we'll talk about this today. Like, what's really worth yelling and screaming and stressing out about? I mean, my mom will tell you her wedding, so much shit went wrong. Like the catering, the band, like it was a fucking mess, you know, like, and she's like, we just went with it. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, people get so stressed. It's like, it's supposed to be fun. Like, it's just supposed to be fun. Like that's just kind of, that's the point. So I mean, and just, you know, being down there is just like a stress-free place anyway. You know, you're trying to navigate and plan a New York City wedding, a little more tense and high pressure. But it was good. I mean, you felt very comfortable in the house. Also, we stayed in this giant, like the house, I didn't even think it was that big till I got inside of it. I just rented an Airbnb. It was super cheap off season and it was like huge. There were 6 bedrooms. So like everybody had their own bedroom.
Thursday night was great. It was one of my favorite nights of the weekend because we were all just in like sweatpants. We ordered pizza from Grotto's and just like hung out, and I had a lot to drink. And then at some point I just disappeared. I don't know how it happened. Okay, I want to say up top. Last week I talked about blowing 73 times to completion, and his sister listened, and so maybe she wants to earmuff it for this before I talk about what happened.
Sister, if you're listening, this is where you skip ahead.
This is, I mean, honestly, you've already heard it all. So I went upstairs. I don't know how it happened. I was on the phone for a few hours. It turned into phone sex. I don't know.
In the house with my family. Thin walls, the old beach house.
I don't know how it happened. I just disappeared. I had a little phone sex, and I was like pretty drunk, and I put 2 covers over my head thinking like no one can hear me.
You built a fort. You built a phone sex fort.
I was like, these 2 thin ass blankets are gonna muffle
they're like
the
those
sound.
Thin comforters. It's not a Buffy. It's not a Buffy.
No,
I'll tell you that.
They are thin beach blankets, and I was moaning and saying all kind of shit. And then so I wake up in the morning and I'm like, people definitely heard me. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to. So I'm like waiting. I'm like biding my time to go downstairs. I don't want to go downstairs. I come downstairs. I enter the room. You're there. Your mom's there. I'm like, okay, your family's so cool that like people would just start roasting me immediately if they heard me. So no one said anything. I'm like, I'm in the clear. I was like, Ashley's gonna be so pissed at me that I like did this. And I'm like having phone sex next to her mom's room. I shared a wall with her mom. And then nobody said anything. And then slowly it started to come out that people did hear me. Your mom was like, yeah, I can hear you talking like pretty loudly. And she asked me, then she roasted me all day. She asked me if I could make my my sexy liaisons a little louder later.
And
I was like, Cindy, I'm not going to do this again. That's disgusting. Like I would never disrespect the home again. And then somehow, I don't know how it happened. It happened again that night. We were all sitting around having a great time, and I disappeared, went upstairs, and had phone sex again. The next morning was really the day I was like, this is it. Ashley is going to be so pissed at me. I didn't want to look at you. I was like, she's going to be so mad I disrespected the home again. I don't know. It spiraled into a lot of phone sex. But then I put a hard stop on it the third night. I didn't have phone sex in the house the third night.
Okay.
I just did it a little bit last night. I don't know what's happening.
Oh my God. I mean, I can't, like, I feel like you were turned on because you were also sharing a wall with Lindsay and Buck.
I was single at a wedding. Buck was 10 feet away from me. You guys know what Buck looks like.
If you guys don't know by now, which if you're new here, Lindsay is my cousin, Buck is her husband, and Buck fucks. They're the best couple. Mm-hmm. Like, we could just, you're just around couples and their energy is like, you just feel the love. I feel that about Matt and Steph, but like, I don't know. It's really special when you're just around those couples that have been together for years and years and they still just always want to like, give each other a kiss or touch each other or hold hands. They just show each other so much respect. It's just nice. It's just nice. It was such a nice weekend, just full of like love.
I love your family. I feel very accepted by them. I sat with your Aunt Kathy for the wedding. She was my date. I never felt like for one second I'm sad to be here alone. I wish I had a date. I mean, I wished I had somebody to have sex with, not phone sex with, but other than that.
I mean, you got a lot of action. You got most action of anybody in that house.
Yeah. And then I took the best picture of the whole weekend with your dad. It's my favorite photo.
It's such a good pic. You got a real smile out of it.
But, thank you for including me in it. Thank you for having me as your date.
You got invited on your own accord.
Thanks to Matt. But it was beautiful. And I'm really so grateful that we could do something like this because, we've all lost so much over the last year. And to just be able to be outdoors, be with people that we love and celebrate other people's union was very special to me.
I will say the best part of the whole wedding weekend is just, now that Steph's part of our family's joined, her family's incredible. It's great. But after that was Matt splitting his pants at the wedding during a lap dance. So
the sexiest lap dance.
Well,
did you know your brother can move his body like that?
Listen, I know Matt has moves, but he didn't want to do that. And with the DJ, who was incredible, DJ Manny M, he put Matt on blast. Matt had told him he didn't want to do anything like that. He didn't want to do some garter thing. He didn't want to do a striptease, lap dance, whatever. And Manny put him on blast and put on pony, and Matt, he has the moves and he had a crowd and he just went for it.
That wasn't planned?
No, Matt specifically said, don't do that.
Matt did not plan that entire dance.
Matt wanted no part of that.
That was insane, Ashley. The two of you were insane. Okay, at one point there was this dance circle and Ashley's like, I don't know if I want to get it. And then she just dropped to the floor. I have never seen it. And then Matt just busted out a whole routine.
I was like twerking. I was like, my work here. So yeah.
What the fuck how are you all like this? This is crazy.
Matt, it's so funny because Matt, he's 6'7", he's like 300 pounds. He was, he played football, University of Delaware. He's a lineman, and some of his friends obviously were too, his football friends. And so Matt split his pants midway through this like sexy lap dance on his new wife, and he reached around. And you could tell that he felt it. We have a photo of him realizing his pants split. Earlier in the night, his friend Corey, who was also a lineman at Delaware, split his pants. And I went up to Corey, he's the same size as Matt, and he was like, oh, I split my pants at every wedding. And he's like, they're just not made for men that are that big to like drop it low. Like men's dress pants need to have some stretch in them because like...
I didn't know this.
It's a lot of torque to kind of drop down low. Like they just split. Like it was just so funny. Like I would say like that was one of the funniest parts of the wedding. First of all, when he was doing the lap dance, I was screaming. I was standing there with Stephanie's maid of honor, Hannah, screaming. I was looking at you. We were like, oh my God, how is this happening? And then when those pants split, I was like, I'm dead. I'm on the floor. I'm like,
they didn't just split along the seams. They like shredded across the back. The look on his face when he realized this happened was insane.
Because I just feel like over time, men's pants have gotten a little slimmer. You don't want a big baggy ass dad khaki. So I feel like pants are nice. You have nice navy slacks. They are not built to sustain a 300-pound man dropping it low. And Matt and Corey, they have mobility. Like, did you see Corey drop it low?
Did I see them? All I did was watch them. I can't believe Matt didn't plan this dance. You guys I'm shook. I wish you could have seen it. It was like watching Magic Mike.
Not only was it unplanned, Matt specifically said, I'm not doing anything like that.
Yeah. Stephanie's nice family. I can't believe it. Okay, and I will tell you the other, like, one of my favorite moments of every wedding, but like definitely this one, which I loved, is, and I think that everybody can relate, the next morning, 10:30 a.m. brunch.
Starboard.
Every single person looked like they were on their deathbed. You and me felt great.
I felt great.
We felt great. We're killing it.
I just don't like, I mean, I've said it before in the show. I don't get drunk like I used to. I don't like to feel hungover. I didn't want to wake up feeling hungover at my brother's wedding, you know, like the night before, like so many people got so drunk like the night before the wedding. And I just didn't. I was like, I'm the mom. I was the mom. I had to help my mom get home.
Yeah, that's why I had to go upstairs and go to sleep like 2 hours before everybody else.
I was just like helping everybody out.
I love bitching out. Okay.
Yeah.
I love bitching out so I can feel better tomorrow. But that is such a funny, like, cute feeling when, like, you walk in 10:30 a.m. brunch after a wedding, no one is alive.
It's funny to look around.
Mm-hmm. And we were like, we feel great.
I felt great. I wasn't 100%, but like, I was like, I'm here.
I'm doing it.
Eat breakfast, drink coffee, maybe have a little crush. I don't know. But yeah, that was pretty much it. We just wanted to talk about it. Matt's married. It was so great. I mean, I don't know. People, like, I got a few messages of like, you know, was it hard for you? Your brother's getting married before you. He's younger. I'm like, no, like, but I'm different in that way, I guess, because I don't really care. And my thing that I'm the most proud of in my life is this career that we built. And it was nice to be there. And I can't stress enough how I don't feel it at all. I don't care at all. I don't know that that's normal.
I don't know, but
Your
the
younger
energy,
sibling gets married before you. I think some people.
I didn't have this career though at all. Like, my brother got married and I just didn't care. Like, and I don't think my energy said that I cared, and so no one else cared. You know, like, I think that people can sense that you're upset and then they make it a bigger deal. It comes from love. It does. But your energy didn't say, like, feel bad for me. Your energy said, like, I'm part of this. I'm here. This is a great weekend. Like, I'm never better. Ashley
Never looked better.
Ashley could not stop telling us last night how hot she is. Stop. I fell off of a chair laughing.
I just feel great. I love my life. Like, I didn't, you know, it's just like, I don't know, build a life you're proud of so you don't have to show up to your younger sibling's wedding and feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I never felt it for 1 second. It predated the podcast. So I don't know. It's
Right.
I don't begrudge other people for their happiness. I don't know. It was a great weekend and I'm happy we got to do it.
Me too. Okay. So this is just a little something we decided to throw in last minute because we were having Jamie on today. She has this great show on Netflix. And we were just talking about weddings and the ridiculous stuff that people do for weddings that actually nobody really cares about. You know, there was this one episode of the show where they had like a fortune teller at the wedding doing tarot cards and stuff. And we're like, how many people actually do that? You know, you see all these like spreads of food that never get touched, you know, like I just think there's a lot that goes to weddings that don't matter and they're kind of ridiculous. And but also live your truth. Do whatever you want. It's nothing's ridiculous if you're into it, but we asked you guys on Instagram, what's the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen at a wedding? And we wanted to run through a few of those answers.
All right. First one out of the gate. We asked people about arrivals. Bride and groom taxied in on a Trump plane to the reception.
Oh, yikes.
Yikes.
Okay, we're reading these for the first time. We wanted to like be surprised. Groomsmen dance to WAP at the reception.
I like it.
Love to see it.
I love you picked that because at the same time I picked a choreographed bridal party flash mob to Shake It Off by Taylor Swift.
I love it. The bride and groom were pulled around in a pirate ship they built themselves. Around where?
Like a moat? Like I feel like you'd be jealous if the Clemson Tiger came to the reception.
God damn it. I saw that on here too.
Let me see a fucking mascot come to you guys know that I have a mascot fetish. What if I fuck the mascot at my wedding?
This is crazy. The groom answered his phone at the altar.
No! Who was it? That's a mistress.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. My cousin's ex-wife doing a full-on cheerleader routine with her bridesmaids in full attire. They put on cheerleader outfits.
I mean, I don't know if I hate it. Oh, here we go. A ranch fountain.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Give me a fountain of anything.
Of any food. Yeah.
Okay. Wedding in a horse barn, and they just kept the horses below in the barn. Oh my God, the smell. You can't clear the horses out for the wedding.
Oh my God.
Feet washing ceremony where the bride and groom watched each other's feet. Is that a religious thing?
That might be. I'm not sure. Oh my God, a goat sacrifice?
No, they did not. Okay, that better be a religious thing.
Lots of ranch fountains.
Only drink options were bourbon and chocolate milk. Who are these people?
I don't buy it.
I don't believe it.
True or false?
No wine, no water. They were like chocolate milk and bourbon.
No, I don't buy it. My BFF bonged a beer for her entrance to the reception. Oh my gosh.
I don't hate it. Ooh, caught a bridesmaid with another bridesmaid's husband. Yikes.
Chicken salad and mashed potato bar for dinner, cash bar for drinks. Don't do me so dirty like that.
But the first part of that, I like chicken salad.
I like that idea. Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what you think of this. My ex's best friend had a Beauty and the Beast themed wedding.
What? Like with the singing dishes?
They hired a clock.
They're like, be our guest, be our guest.
And the
Our
candlestick
service
just
to
like
the
dances down the aisle.
A mariachi band and a magician during the reception. Love all of that. Kate got married in Tulum, and post ceremony, a mariachi band came out. It was incredible.
I love a mariachi band.
A magician.
Co-op.
Balloon animals.
Okay, here's my favorite one, maybe of all of them. Centerpieces, live goldfish. The bride's family ate them like they were shooting an oyster.
Nope.
Like in Wolf of Wall Street when Jonah Hill eats the goldfish. Can you even do that?
I'm so upset by this, and I don't know if I buy it.
I want to sue them for animal cruelty. You think they shot goldfish out of a centerpiece?
So when we were my senior prom, I forget the theme. I forget. It was probably like Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On. Maybe it was like Titanic, honestly. Okay. But there was a baby pool with real live fish in it, just there in the ballroom.
A baby pool,
they were like
a kiddie pool,
like a kiddie pool with fish in it, real live fish, and they were all belly up by the end of the night. They just all died. We're like, that's so awkward.
That is so awkward. Oh my god!
The prom planning committee really took the L on that one.
All right, I love this. I honestly think that everybody should do this. It was a Pittsburgh wedding. Terrible towels were waved while Renegade is played. You just put terrible towels at every single seat.
Oh, 100%. This is a girl after my own heart. Me doing a keg stand in a dress at the reception, 100%.
I would wear a pair of bike shorts just to do it.
And if there's a keg, I'll do a keg stand. I'm so good at keg stands.
I am too. I really open my throat up.
Yeah, I learned that early on.
Oh my God. Okay. A coffin in front of the head table with the sign that read, "Till death do us part."
No.
They brought a coffin to a wedding.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. This is crazy. My sister had a 7-course seated dinner.
What?
Can you imagine? What is the point of that? 1 course. I'm going to a 1-course wedding. If there are 2 courses, I don't, fine. A salad and an entree course. I don't want it otherwise.
Okay. Here's a food related one. It was 85 degrees plus outside, and they fed us fettuccine Alfredo. Hot ass outside wedding, and you eat hot, thick, creamy pasta.
Fettuccine Alfredo.
Speaking of fettuccine Alfredo, I'll never forget when we were in Tampa last time. This bitch sat right by the stage and ate fettuccine Alfredo during our show. I couldn't call
her out fast enough, honestly. Here's a food thing I love that people do. This girl had Whataburger delivering breakfast tacos for all the drunk people at the end of the wedding.
I love a late night food because I feel like at weddings you're usually eating at 6 or 6:30, your dinner. So when after Matt's wedding, before I went back to the Starboard, I came home and had a piece of Grotto's. I would love Grotto's delivered. My dream is to have a Shake Shack delivered. Honestly, my dream is to have Shake Shack just cater. Yeah, that's a good call. Trapeze person hanging from a chandelier pouring champagne as the guests walk in. I've been to a wedding like that. My friends got married at Nikki Beach in Miami, and they had all those things. They had the glow stick, they had the drummer, they had the trapeze champagne girl. I loved it. It felt like just a really wild night at the club.
Like a circus. I love it.
It was like a circus, yeah.
I'll tell you what would piss me off. The brother of the groom proposed to his girlfriend at the reception.
No.
Read the room, Frank.
Oh my God.
We got a bunch of those. That
is wild to propose at a wedding.
The balls.
I cannot. All right. Let's end it on that.
Okay, guys, we are so excited to jump in with our guest today. She is a comedian, an actress, and a writer, best known for Girl Code, Crashing, Ridiculousness. She is the author of the 2016 book, Weddiculous, an Unfiltered Guide to Being a Bride, and the host of the new Netflix reality series, The Wedding Coach, which Ashley and I watched all morning. Please welcome to the show, Jamie Lee.
Yay!
Hi.
I'm so happy to see you guys. Also, did you you watch with the captions on? Because I know that you guys do that.
Yeah, obviously I watched the captions on, but I will say, I think we met on a show like at a bar, like at Poco, maybe in the East Village one night. And you probably don't remember, but I remember you because it was like, I was watching Crashing at the time and we were like such a fan of the show.
Wow.
And I was like, Rayna, I met Jamie from the show, because we were just so into Crashing.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've been fans of yours for a while now.
Oh, well, thank you. That's really nice. And I love this podcast. So it's like, it's kind of surreal doing it, honestly.
Oh my God.
I'm a big fan. Yeah, your chemistry is truly next level.
Oh my God.
Thank you. Yeah, Ashley is my lifelong partner.
It shows. It really is like, I think a lot of like best friends have podcasts, and I do one with my good friend as well. And like, yeah, I just think the chemistry is so important, and I could just like listen to you guys talk about anything. So
hey,
that's
really appreciate you having me.
So you're coming to us in a few blocks away from us in New York City. So you're in New York City, you're hosting the show, you wrote the book about weddings. Maybe we start with the book and like what encouraged you to like write this. You wrote a book about wedding planning while planning a wedding.
Yes, that's crazy. Right. Yeah, it does sound crazy, but actually I think that was maybe the best way to do it looking back, because you have so many thoughts and feelings about the experience as you're going through it. And it's nice to like have a place to sort of like dump those feelings. And then later when the wedding was over and I kind of like went back and started looking at these like journal entries I was doing, then I could use my perspective having gone through it to then like tweak it and make it sound like less angry. Honestly, like my first draft of my book was just like the literary equivalent of like Norwegian death metal. It was just like the fucking meanest, craziest, harshest thing you've ever read. Like that original manuscript was psychotic. And then I was so grateful, obviously, to have an editor who was like, hey, like maybe scale it back a little bit. Like, you don't have to talk about everybody like they murdered you. Like, just calm down a bit. So yeah, I was happy to go back and be like, okay, like let's breathe and like edit this thing. So it still has an edge to it and it's still like irreverent, but it's not like brutal to read.
Can we have some excerpts from the original? No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right? I have to go back. It's somewhere. I should reread it. Oh,
who did you hate the most? Was it your mom or his mom or him? Like who was the worst?
Honestly, I think it was him. And I say that with love. Like I think that he was in a really tough spot where he was having to manage my feelings and then manage his parents' feelings. And then also like just kind of not knowing like where who's the right person to align with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like, in our case, we had like a lot of different people putting money in, which I think if you can swing it to where you don't have to do that, that means like less people are weighing in. Because I think a lot of families, not every family, but a lot of family, if they contribute to the pot, they feel like they have stake in it and therefore they can like give their opinion. Whereas you want to be like, no, just like give me the money and like don't talk. Like I just want your money.
Or they want to like invite a lot of their friends.
Yes. And so it's which is understandable. If I was giving a big chunk of change and then people were like, yeah, just give us your money and like don't weigh in, that's a tough spot to be in. But anyways, yeah, I think that my husband and I were just fighting a lot because I just wanted him to back me up even when I was being illogical, and he was definitely being more rational, and he was like, you sound crazy, and then I was like, don't call me crazy. So that was really hard. I think like not sticking together more as a team.
So can we back up a little bit though? Like just
Please.
A little bit of background, like how long were you guys together before? Were you planning a big wedding? Like just a little bit of background on you and your husband, and then your update now with, whatever you want to share. So we have a little bit of the like big picture of the relationship.
Yeah. So big picture of our relationship was we had been together 5 years, got engaged. We were engaged for maybe a year and a half because we were waiting on a particular venue. So we had like, I guess that's kind of like an average length engagement. I don't even know what is average anymore, long or short, but yeah. And then we initially were going to have the wedding in New York, potentially on Long Island, because that's where he was from. And we had a lot of friends in New York. So we were like, maybe that's more convenient. But then I'm from Texas. And so we considered Texas. But then his parents were like, if it's in Texas, no one will go to Texas. So then we were like, oh, okay, maybe we shouldn't have it in Texas. And then I ended up pulling the plug on it being in New York because I felt like I had no real control over it when I was so far away living in California. It was going to be about like 125 guests. And I just kind of felt like his parents they were truly just helping us. Like they were actually being so helpful. But as someone who's like planning their first wedding, I was like, I want to be more involved and I don't want people handling things for me. I just want to handle it all on my own. And so it became kind of like a weird power struggle. So then I kind of pulled the plug and moved it to California so I could like be closer to my wedding essentially.
How old were you when you were like planning this?
Yeah, 32.
All right. Yeah. So you weren't like 22.
No, not a child bride. Yeah. Like,
so you were like, I'm capable of like making decisions.
Yes.
And, I think that a lot of people like prize getting married young, but I think the longer you can wait, the more money you can contribute yourself.
Absolutely.
The more you know about the world, the better.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think that's where my perspective was coming from, because I think sometimes when you're getting married, people kind of start treating you like a child, like trying to like tell you what to do. And like family members are kind of like acting like parents again. And you're like, wait, this is weird. I haven't lived with you in years yet. Like you're kind of weighing in about my life choices in this way that makes me feel really juvenile. So I think that because I was in my early 30s, like that's why I was able to write a book from the perspective of like, I'm an adult and I make my own choices and everyone else should too.
And then for you kind of feeling like he didn't have your back at points and you like weren't on the same team. I mean,
right.
Did you work through that during the process, or was that like tension? And then, I mean, we wanted to talk about this. I mean, the couple in the first episode of The Wedding Coach, like they weren't having sex, and the whole point was like, guys, like the wedding, the marriage is about the relationship. We don't have it without the relationship, and did you guys get to that point? Was
oh
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the romance was so sort of like beaten out of our relationship during that time. Like the types of fights we were having they were just like so visceral and it was just, I can say this, like we are now separated. That happened during the pandemic. And I agree. It's very weird to be a wedding coach who potentially is going to be divorced, but also what a modern tale it is too, guys. I mean, really, what?
Okay, it's not the how to not get divorced coach.
It is not. And it's also not the marriage coach.
Yeah.
But also I think it's kind of good. Okay, look, it's not good. I'm not like, yay, I got separated. Like that's not how I feel. But I do think that like my mission though, on some level for that show is to like help people not make the same mistakes I did. And I am definitely trying to use my foresight for good. So it's been, it was a really volatile time. It sucked. It was really, really hard.
I think that it's important to like tell people that. And you're not the first person I've ever heard. Like somebody very close to me said, the worst time in our 10-year relationship was planning the wedding. It's the only time I ever wanted to leave her. It's the only time I felt like I really didn't like this person. And this is a couple that I think is super strong and has a great marriage and has for years. But I think it's important to normalize that this stuff, first of all, put it in perspective. It's just a party and it can make you really hate each other. So it's tough. I'm glad that you talk about it.
Yeah. And it's also like, it's funny because I feel like the narrative around it is like, it's stressful in the lead up and then it all melts away once you get to the wedding. And it's like, I wouldn't say it melts away. I would say that you're distracted because there are a lot of people there. So you're not thinking about it, but it's not like, oh, I can forget it all. It's like, no, it still happened. Like this isn't eternal sunshine. Like I can't mind erase all of these horrible fights and the things we said to each other. Like that's just not how it works. You put your resentment on pause maybe, but it's still there.
Well, also there's nothing worth a year of fighting with your partner.
Absolutely
nothing.
not.
So no wedding it's not ever going to be worth all the fights. It's one day, it's one party, you know, it happens so fast. It's over in 5 hours. And then you look back on it as like, we fucked up our relationship over this. Like, I think people really need to put that into perspective. Like, we're fighting and there's so much stress and there's so much tension. We're not fucking, whatever it is. And then that's all just going to get fixed after this 5-hour party. Like, it's, you know, or this weekend, like, it's never worth it. Nor is it worth going in debt. Nor is it worth it. You can't buy a home now, you know, all those things too. So
yeah. And also I think the biggest thing, like probably my biggest takeaway, and obviously I'm not saying that my experience is like an example of everyone's experience. I do know people who had a relatively easy wedding planning process, but I think the biggest lesson I took away was just like, use it as an opportunity to learn how to like unite as a couple and set the boundary against everybody else trying to infiltrate your bubble. It's really important that you two are aligned. And like, to me, if you can really like keep that as a philosophy throughout, you probably will be fine. If you really both are like on each other's teams super hard. And I think that family can come in and kind of like try to pull you guys apart. And it's tough because you're so used to like, you're used to your parents kind of like calling the shots. So it's easy to sort of regress to that time when that happened, even if you're an adult. And so, yeah, I think that was the biggest thing is like, I wish I had just known how to like work as a unit and work as a team and like put up that boundary to make sure we like protected our unit.
Absolutely. I think that is super important advice. I also just wonder, I mean, you know, it's not as deep as like wanting children or where you want to live, but like, I feel like sometimes it's worth talking about how you picture your wedding day prior to even getting engaged. Like, I think, or even if not that, then at least discussing it with your new fiance before any family gets involved. Like, I mean, kind of drawing,
I love that.
Like drawing the boundaries before mom and dad from both sides start coming in and talking about giving money. Like, you have to draw those like hard lines in the sand. If you're like, we want to elope, that's what we're doing. We don't need your money or we're happy to take it, but we are getting married in Mexico. We've always wanted this. This is what we're doing. It's going to be 50 people. Because I think when you go into it all like, we don't know what we want, then parents see an opening to start pushing all of what they want on you. Like, not even that they have to be super overbearing, but if you're like, we don't know, we're open, then they see the opening. So I think that I would say, I mean, get engaged, enjoy it for some time, you know, and then sit down and figure out what you guys want without parents and getting involved. And then you tell them. And again, this is age too. I mean, you're going to be younger in your 20s. You're going to be like, Mom, tell me what to do.
Yes, but that's true.
I feel like you become the unit when you sit down and have the talk about what you both want without anyone else's thoughts and feelings and interventions and, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. And like, if you do have family that's overbearing, I mean, I'm sure other people are not going to feel this way and maybe easier said than done, but I do think it's like, it's kind of your responsibility to make sure you keep your family partner feeling comfortable. Yeah. And keeping the family in check. Like, I do think that's kind of what you have to do for each other. If like family is saying something negative about your partner, like shield them from that, like keep them away from that. That's not appropriate. And it's also like, that's between the two of you to work out. So I mean, boundaries are everything. Boundaries. Shout out to boundaries. They're great.
And I love the united front. I love what Ashley said about like make a plan before you tell people.
That's a great piece of advice.
I got engaged. True. I was 27 years old. I wasn't paying for my wedding. I had no idea how to plan a party. We got engaged on June 14th. We were already having meetings with our family on June 17th. I only know the dates because it was my birthday. And I just got steamrolled at every turn and like everything I said. But again, I was young and I wasn't paying for it. But I just felt like it got to the point where I was like, you guys just let me know when and where to show up. Cause like I was just getting steamrolled by everybody. And, you know, maybe my advice for that is yes, have the conversation ahead of time. Maybe wait a little longer until you have a couple more dollars and you can contribute a little more so that everybody's not just saying, well, we're paying for this and this is our wedding.
Wait, Rayna, did you get married?
No, girl.
Okay. 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 I didn't know if you got married and we're on the other side of it now.
No,
Okay.
I had booked the whole, I mean, for people who have been listening for years, they know, but the second version is I got engaged in like June. We booked the whole wedding, had everything planned. He left me the day after our engagement party right around
What
Halloween.
the fuck?
Yeah, actually he got married this week.
Married.
Oh my God.
On a Tuesday on Zoom.
Oh, wow. I mean, the romance. Wow.
He was like, we do it our
Tale
way.
as old as time.
He was like, we've just been doing it our way always. I'm like, you're okay. Our way is Zoom on a Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that feels like karma. Zoom on a Tuesday is karma.
But I do wish I would have done more of what Ashley said, which is that him and I had been like, here's what we want. Here's what we can contribute financially. Here's what we ideally think we should do. Because otherwise it sort of spirals out of control. It's not yours anymore.
Yeah.
Or if you don't care, if you're like, I don't care about this, mom and dad, you guys have the money, you plan it, just tell me where to go. We're chill. I mean, I don't think that's really, I think that's a little rare, but some people don't care. And they're like, we really don't care about centerpieces and shit, but our parents want to have this big high society wedding. So we're in love and we're just going to chill out and we're just going to show up. So
yeah, I mean that I do, there is something kind of nice about that. If you are that personality type that is fine with that, there is something kind of beautiful about just being like, yeah, like go for it. Like you guys handle this.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you guys when the wedding was over, did you go on a honeymoon right away? I mean, did you have to kind of start repairing some of the damage?
Yeah, there was even some weirdness like the night before the wedding. I know this wasn't your question, but just to like back it up pre-honeymoon. But there was something at the rehearsal dinner. So our rabbi got lost coming from the rehearsal, going back to the hotel where we were having the rehearsal dinner. So the rehearsal was at the venue and then everything else was at the hotel. And she like got lost. And so we were sitting around waiting for her because we were going to sign our ketubah right before the rehearsal dinner. And then she showed up and the rehearsal dinner had already started. And I am Jewish, but I didn't grow up religious. I grew up in Texas. So the ketubah signing for me personally was like it didn't have this sort of like weight to it emotionally for me. I was doing it for my husband. So when we finally got to sign the ketubah, I was kind of like, can we speed this up? Because like, I want to go to this party that I paid for. And like everyone I know is here and they all flew in from out of town. And like, he just was so hurt by it. He's like, this is a big moment for me. I went to so many Jewish weddings growing up. I'm Jewish. This is a big deal signing the ketubah. And like, you're just trying to sort of like get through it. And like, so even that, I was just like, oh, this feels so bad. Like it all just feels so bad. It's not even like who's right or wrong. It was just like, ugh,
well, it's just not on the same team. You said it earlier. It's just is like you're going to clash at every turn.
You probably would have. You probably would have appreciated some like acknowledgement of the fact, like I'm doing this for you. I don't even want to do this.
Right, like
100%.
This 100%. Is. I want to go be with my friends and family, which is also a really admirable priority. You're not trying to go do lines in the bathroom.
No,
like
no.
It wasn't like you're like, I gotta,
right. No, I wasn't like trying to go suck off the cater waiter. I wanted to go hang out with friends.
That's how I'm trying to live.
I mean, no shade to the person who does that. I'm sure it's
but I mean, especially a religious
probably get free mozzarella sticks out of it.
Oh my God.
At least a free drink, like a free shot. They're like no shots. And you're like, at least I get a shot because I sucked them off. But a religious thing, especially, I think is like, okay, I agree.
Wait, can I just say to say that sentence and then go, but then the religious thing to go from dick sucking to religion is a beautiful transition. And I just want to make sure that that's my favorite.
Yeah. I went from my favorite thing to something that I hate. So
yeah.
The religious thing also, I just think it's amazing that you would do that for him. It's not like a superfluous thing. It's a really important thing that you agreed to do. I also agreed to get married by a rabbi, which I did not want to do. It made me physically uncomfortable just because I'm not religious. So it's a great thing to do for somebody. And then to feel sort of like it's not enough is
that was one of the biggest things all along the way. Also, like my husband grew up in a very tight knit, predominantly Jewish community. And I grew up in Dallas, Texas, where there are lots of different types of religions, most of them Christian. So we just came from very different backgrounds, and weddings for me in Texas look a lot different than weddings on Long Island. They have it's almost like a machine on Long Island. It's like a certain type of band, a certain type of cocktail hour, tons of stations, food from around the world, always in a catering hall. This is the rabbi. This is where you do it. Like everything was just like, this is how you do weddings. Whereas I was like, well, weddings can look a lot of different ways. Like you don't have to have a band. You can have a DJ. You could play your iPod, like whatever it is. I don't know. So I think a lot of that, like, it has to be this way. It has to look this way. I was always like, does it? Like, I can't even relate to that because there was no sort of standard to Texas weddings that I had experienced.
I mean, that's a conversation you'd have to have with your partner. I mean, do you want this traditional by the book wedding? But first of all, I have so many issues with so many things about weddings. Like when I just, married my brother and his wife. And it was like, I'm not saying who gives this woman to this man. No, I refuse. I hope that if I were to ever get married, obviously I would think that I would be with somebody that feels the same way about me. Is like, you can do whatever the fuck. I mean, it's just like all these things are so antiquated. So it's tough if you have a person that's like, well, this is how it's done. And it's like, who decided this?
I think my new theory, now being on completely the other side of not only my wedding, but my marriage, I think that the litmus test for, is this the right relationship and is this the right person to be with, is them saying to you, I don't care what we do, big wedding, small wedding, whatever it is, I just want you. That to me is like, that's when you know. And also starting from that place, you can discuss a big wedding. You can discuss a small wedding. You can figure out what works for the two of you, but knowing that that's your baseline and that someone is willing to literally do whatever because they just want this and the two of you, that to me is like, then you're good. Then you'll figure it out. Like
100%.
Any other departure from that, honestly, I do think is slightly red flaggy.
100%, because centerpieces don't matter and cocktail hour food does not matter and tablecloths and all the shit does not matter. What matters is what happens the day after that wedding.
No one just said to me flat out, none of this matters. So that probably would be helpful advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't stress it enough.
But I do think that it's really more, it's not about problems coming up because I mean, planning an event is stressful and I'm not anti-wedding. I'm not saying like, don't do it. I think it's more about like, how do you guys handle the problems as a team? And are you able to overcome them in a way that has some like resolution to it and you don't go to bed feeling like icky or resentful? So to me, it's almost like, yes, plans for like the process to sort of like be inflamed and have flare-ups, but like really pay close attention to how you guys handle those flare-ups. It's not about being flare-up free. It's about like overcoming them in a way that makes the two of you stronger, I think.
And I think you see people break up. I mean, I think
I wanted to call it off so many times. Oh
my God.
But then I was like, I can't. The train's leaving the station and I'm on the train. Like, it was just like,
that is how I felt. I remember we were having this crazy fight. I remember standing in our doorway and I said to him, I feel like I'm staring down the barrel of a gun. I hate this. I hate this whole experience. Like but I felt exactly like that. I've said this a million times. The train had left the station. Like it was happening. And
Rayna, that breaks my heart. I know exactly that feeling.
But saying goodbye or leaving was never an option in my mind. Like I was like, I'm 27. Everybody gets married.
I know. Same.
Everybody is engaged. No one's ever broken engagement ever. Like this is what we're doing. I will deal with not really like being super happy the day after the wedding. And I didn't know that it was an option to not do that. I didn't tell you left me.
It's also another great piece of advice. I think I'm like, it's literally my own advice. I'm like, it's great advice. But another piece of advice that I do find helpful, I should say, is that if you really think calling off a wedding is that big of a deal, the truth is everybody is so used to, like, if you're an adult, you've like, you've lived a life, you've seen R-rated movies, you've seen shit go down. Like you should be able to handle someone calling off their wedding. And if someone has like a serious problem with that, they like are very, very sheltered. Like I think people get over stuff pretty quickly. Everyone's pretty self-involved. You're not going to,
no one cares that much.
No one cares.
No one cares about you. And
no one cares about you in a good way. In a good way.
Right, in a good way. But everybody knows 100 people that have called off their wedding and their engagement. I'm not saying do it. I think what you did is great. I think it's great to go to therapy and be like, maybe we love each other. Let's work through this. But everybody knows people that have called off their wedding.
What's the alternative? I mean, the alternative is that you get divorced and it's even worse. And then, we had a guest on a few weeks ago. She's a single mother. She called off her wedding.
I was about to listen to that episode. Okay. I'm going to listen to it after this.
Yeah. I mean, to her child's father a month before the wedding. I mean, she was just like, I knew it wasn't right. And she also recently broke up with her. She got engaged again. She broke up with him. Like, just, if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. And so I think that it's never too late. I hate that that's the takeaway, but you're so right. Like,
it's a good takeaway. Normalize it, you know,
normalize it,
stigmatize it.
I can name 5 weddings right now that I know of that got called off. And it's also like, you don't even really owe anybody an explanation because I do love other people's drama. Like, I do want to know the truth, but like, if I get a message that this wedding that I got to save the date to isn't happening anymore, I'm like, whatever, one less dress I need to buy, you know, it's just kind of like, no one cares that much.
You know who it's tragic for? It's tragic for like parents who are like kind of sitting around, like empty nester type parents who are sitting around. They were really counting on it. They were excited about it. That is who it's hard for. I think it's hard for the parents, but friends, no. Guests traveling in time, coming into be at the wedding. No, they can, whatever.
Okay, the alternative is your parents pay for the wedding and you get separated.
Exactly.
And I know somebody who was getting married and he said to me, like, I don't think either of us wanted to do it, but we thought, like you said, traded left the station and we would just figure it out. And they had been together for years. They were married for 6 months and they were just like, we just shouldn't have done it. And it's like, all that money is just like lit on fire. Like, the alternative.
I think about that. Lit on fire is exactly how I think about the money I spent on my wedding. I'm like, it just dumped it all into upgrading chairs that no one even sat in because they were walking around talking to people. Like, what are you thinking?
There's I was listening to this other podcast. I can't even recall it. Like, gun to my head, I couldn't remember. But bottom line, I forget what even the term is. But the example they used was, let's say you like bought a flight to somewhere and then you decide you didn't want to go on the trip, but you say to yourself, like, well, I already bought the flight. So then you go on the trip and then you spend, you go to Vegas. I think that's the example they used. And then you spend thousands of more dollars. So you would have just lost $500 in the flight, or you lost like $2,500 because you went and like blew a bunch of money on this trip that you didn't really want to go on. So it's like the same thing. I think people get wrapped up in like, but we already did deposits. And it's know. Okay, but so what you
don't do more things.
You lose
do more things.
Yes. You lose a few thousand here. Yes. I mean, not that that's pocket change. It's a lot of money, but like compared to the actual amount, and then on top of it, a potential divorce. So I think like Rayna and I, the amount of we've lit money on fire. We've canceled trips and we've had those conversations of like, oh, we already paid for this part of it, but it's like, what's the alternative? We just keep paying more and more and more and more.
Okay, here's a hot tip. If you got to cancel a wedding, what my dad did was, because he put the deposit down on everything, my dad called all the places and said that her fiance left her.
Oh, that'll work.
Felt
that'll
so
work.
bad for me.
Wow.
Well, my dad got all of his money back. Yeah, listen.
Holy shit, I love that.
Whether or not it's true, just lie. My dad got all of his. People were like, "Oh, this is so awkward. Just give him the money."
Oh God, I love that. Yeah, just give him a little taste of a sob story. Like, here you go. Here's your cash.
So, Jamie, how long were you married? Or, I mean, when was the wedding? Sorry, the
wedding was in 2016, and so 4 years, 4 years.
Okay,
I just wanted to. I didn't know if it was like 2019. Like, I wasn't sure. So
yes, okay. 4 years. Yeah.
Okay.
No, we weren't the couple that split up after 6 months. But yeah, and also I think our situation is. I feel grateful because he is really like just such a great person and really is like my best friend. And I know like people say that like he's my best friend, but like really is. And like, he also worked on The Wedding Coach. He was the comedy producer for The Wedding Coach. There's like, like, I just honestly, like on a comedy level, he is so funny and like so smart and like just so helpful. And so now we're sort of in this another like sort of modern story where it's like, okay, we were married, now we're separated, but we worked on a show about weddings and you work on my show and we might be divorced and we might be working on a wedding show divorced. Like, it's just it's so goofy, but also like, it just feels like real life to me.
But it feels like we said this recently too, of like, who gets to determine what a successful relationship is? Because what I see here is that you guys have a great friendship. You've had love in this relationship, obviously, and then kind of all the drama with the wedding led you to have a book and a show, and like all this stuff is kind of stemmed from it. And now you work with him on the show. Like it all works out. You know, Rayna and I always say,
I
like,
think
if
that's really nice. I like the way you put that.
like if she wouldn't have gotten broken up with by her fiance, if I hadn't had this horrible breakup, we wouldn't have this show.
We never would have met.
We never would have met. Yeah.
I would have been like a wife and a mother in New Jersey, which is a great thing to be. It just wasn't my path in life. But like, who's to say it's not a success that I found a man who was a great partner to me for 4 years and I loved him and I learned a lot. I don't hate him. I wish him well. And, you know, even if you were together for 8 years and divorced in 6 months, that's still a person you found that you loved. Like I totally.
And I think that's such a great way to look at it, because I do think, like, you know, there's sort of like societal pressure to sort of like define what a successful relationship looks like. And it's defined by, you know, you get married and you're by each other's side until the day you die. And like, it's like, that's it. Like, otherwise it's a failure. And it's like, that is so that's unbelievably crazy. Untrue. And not only untrue, that's like Disney fantasy untrue. I mean, yeah, sure. There are those people. My grandparents were those people, like super in love until the day my grandmother passed away, like truly joined at the hip, obsessed with each other. Yes, those stories do exist. And those are a version of a successful relationship, but it's not the only successful relationship. Like,
absolutely.
I really value my husband, whatever we want to call him. I do. I mean, he's like a huge part of my life and he's family to me. So it's like, yeah. And I think I think the fact that we can look at it framed that way, I think it just makes both of us feel a lot more content about the fact that it's ending. Like, I think we're able to still cling on to something because it's not like it's gone. It just evolved. It changed.
And it's beautiful if you could grow with somebody for 40, 50, 60 years, but maybe you're in love with a different person every decade. And, you know, in my 20s,
we live a long ass time now.
Absolutely. When I was in my 20s, that person was right for me. I'm seeing somebody now who I think is fantastic. I wouldn't have chosen him 10 years ago. And I'm so happy to like choose him now. And we'll see in my last 1 week. I don't know, but like, I'm happy this week. So like, why not enjoy that?
Absolutely. That's huge.
Yeah. I love that we covered that.
Me too. That's such a like important conversation to have.
I think your relationship's amazing.
I do too.
All this wedding bullshit. Now it's your career. I mean, who knew? Like, it's just like, who's had a more successful wedding planning than that?
No.
You get a book deal out of it. Now you got a fucking Netflix show and you're like friends with the guy. Like, it's just great.
No, the sequel is going to be like 5-minute episodes where Jamie's just like, don't do it. Just don't do it.
She's like, call it off. Yeah. Could we Netflix do a show about calling off wedding? Like calling them off when they're in the planning.
Well, we have one episode in our show where that does happen, which is lovely. I'm really glad that they like let us do that, because I think there was a discussion about like being like, should we end it that way? And I was like, no, we have to. Like, I don't want everything to end in a wedding, but I really want. I'm already thinking of like the spinoff show, and I'm like, I would love to be the separation coach,
the divorce coach. Yes,
man, I would love that. I think it would be so huge. Like, I would watch the shit out of that. I'm not even if I don't host it, I just would watch the shit out of that show.
No, you should host it. I think
I want to.
I think that you can like separate in a positive way. Like, what a dream to separate from your partner and to speak of them the way that you speak of your partner. And you're just like, this is my friend and I respect them. And like, I feel okay about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. I think and also like, I'm sure, you know, in certain circumstances, obviously every separation is different, but like, I would really like to like be there for the people who are really like suffering from it. Like, if one person got left by the other person, I would love to like help the person who's really like being broken up with, like, see the light through the tunnel and be like, oh yeah, it wasn't right. Like, you don't want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you. Like, it would just be nice to sort of like be a shoulder to lean on, because I think that's obviously like a very hard thing to go through.
Absolutely. I feel like that's what we try to do with like, we've done a number of breakup episodes now, you know, and we are very vocal about like, I thought I was going to die. That was the worst pain of my life.
The
and
worst
like,
pain I've ever
look at me now, you know,
it's a blindsiding breakup. There's nothing worse.
Yeah. And like, but like, you'll be fine. You'll get through it.
Fine.
I mean, we did an episode on grief, like all this stuff. I think it just helps for people to see other people's experiences and what they've gone through and that they came out on the other side. So
do you want to should we talk about bachelorette parties? Do you have like funny stuff you want to say about like planning a bachelorette party?
Oh my God.
Always have one. You said that on the show.
I did say that on the show. Definitely always have one. And like, look, everyone has a different version of like what they think is fun for a bachelorette. I know a lot of people just like rent a house and hang out with their girlfriends, and then other people go to Vegas. Like whatever it is, like just be really honest with yourself about the version of fun you like to have. That would probably be my best advice. I wasn't like crazy in college, so I feel like a lot of my adulthood is like trying to go crazy now, like before I have kids. And so I was like, it has to be Vegas. Like I got to get fucking lit and like go crazy and like club really hard and just like drink a lot. And like, it was fun. And I'm glad I did that. But I also think I would have had a really nice time just like renting a house in Palm Springs and like sitting around a pool.
Guys, like your version, Las Vegas would be my nightmare. Like I was never
Totally get that.
I've never been a club girl. I'm not that cool. I have 2 drinks. I take a nap. I mean, Ashley,
I love being in bed by like 9.
Well, I don't.
You would jump in a conga line and be dancing your ass off in a bikini. I would be asleep by 4 p.m.
Well, I just think one of the most fun bachelorette parties I ever went to, I think I was 26 or 27. It was in Miami. We went to the club every night. We like raged all day. I've like fucked this guy in the ocean and then had to get out of the ocean as the sun was coming up and all the old people were on the beach. I was like, I'm naked. Like it was wild. So it was the
Wait,
best.
I have a couple
That's what we'll do at Ashley's
we
Bachelorette.
Can't speed through that. I need a couple of details on that. 100%. I'm sorry. So wait, okay. So you fucked in the ocean.
Yeah. After we went to Mint.
Okay. Did the salt water like hurt your vagina at all?
I was just so drunk. Like, I don't think, also I think I've had sex in the ocean a couple times. I mean, I feel like it feels a little better in South Beach. It's a little clearer. You know, it's not.
Ashley can't recommend that ocean to fuck in enough.
I think I don't think there's really anything too wrong with it. I don't think any sex in water is great. You know, your natural lubrication's kind of gone, but it's like, it's fun. I think it's better than a hot tub probably for your pussy. But like, it was quick. It was short lived. Like we were just drunk and having sex and realized the sun was coming up and our clothes were on the beach. And I mean, you know, sunrise on the beach is senior citizens are out. They're walking their dogs. I mean, we had to emerge from the ocean naked and get our clothes. I mean, thank God our clothes were still there. But my other favorite one was my best girlfriend, Kate's bachelorette. I mean, we were in our 30s where we were past that, no penis, anything. And we went to Sonoma. We did like wine tasting, you know, it was just
beautiful.
And we didn't even call, I don't even really like the word bachelorette at this age. We just usually call it like a girl's trip, a pre-wedding trip. I mean, I think my brother's fiance or now wife, she just did, you know, it's COVID, but she did a lake house with all their girlfriends or somebody's cabin or whatever. And they, you know, it's just, it is so much of age, but also some people are never Vegas people. They're never club people. And it's so much of that is like admitting what you want and not letting your friends get carried away.
Yeah, I think, it's so funny that you say that you went to one in Miami because I'm about to go to one in Miami for my friend who is in her 30s. And I'm very excited. I have not been to a bachelorette in a while. And I'm just kind of like, oh, wow. Like I've also never been to Miami.
Oh my God,
really?
girl, buckle
What's
up.
Miami like? Tell me.
We'll be there in a few weeks.
Yeah, when's the date?
It's in July 9th is the week I'll be there.
First of all, that's my birthday.
Let's go down.
Second of all,
let's crash this bachelorette.
No, I will not come. I'm not going to Miami in July, bitch. You know how hot it's going to be?
So hot. Oh, shit.
I'm going to die.
Think about that. Am I going to die?
You can't go to Miami in July.
Can't go to Miami in July
Are
and
you
August.
Serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
We
I
usually
didn't know
put a
that.
moratorium on.
It's not
on
okay.
Miami. You're at the equator. You're going to die.
Wait, how is like Miami even legal at that
We don't know. It is 80 degrees during the day in February in Miami.
But I have left. We used to go in June every year, and one year I left. I was like, I'm too hot. Like I couldn't live.
Do you have curly hair?
No, it's kind of wavy. Why is it going to be?
It's going to be as big as possible.
Okay.
Okay. The thing I do like about Miami as a
in July is that it's empty.
Yeah, definitely nobody else will be there.
We love Miami, by the way.
We're obsessed with Miami.
I've been to Miami.
Really?
I've been 100 times.
Love. It's the place I've been to the most.
It's like a second home. Yeah.
No one talks about. I mean,
we talk about it.
I know. I have heard you guys talk about Florida, but I have not thought about Miami. I don't know why. I just haven't been. I don't know.
Okay, here's what I like about Miami and other destinations. Like I would do mine in Charleston, but I love
the Charleston.
I'm obsessed. Key West. I love a destination where you can sort of choose your adventure. There's like fancy bougie things you can do. There's laid back casual things. You can go to a club if you want to go to a club.
We have a boat guy for you.
Yeah, you can lay on. You can lay on the beach. You can go on a boat. I like that type of bachelorette where there's just like choose your adventure, pick a ton of stuff. Miami will be great. You'll have a lot of. I mean, you're gonna get heat stroke, but Other than that,
Wow.
But yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I think bachelorettes, I've been to, I don't know. I mean, dozens. I've planned so many. I mean, we've done the full blown penis cakes, penis straws,
Sure.
penis everything. Like, and then you just kind of do ones that are super chill. Like I just love, like, don't not do one. Like even if it is just everybody rents a really cool Airbnb somewhere, you know, whether it's at the beach or at the lake or in the mountains or whatever, it just don't like not do those things because you're too busy planning your wedding.
it's a special
No, yeah,
thing.
it is special. And I also think, even if you think like, I don't need one, it's like, yeah, but you probably do need like a girls trip. Like it's probably been a while since you've just like hung
Yeah.
out with all your favorite women in your life. So like, if you can even look at it that way, it's just like a really nice thing to do for yourself.
Absolutely. We did an episode years ago. Do you remember the name of it? It's called Always a Bridesmaid. And we talked about more about like budgeting and like if you can't afford to go to your friend's bachelor. It was more of the for the perspective of the guest or the bridesmaid. But I have a question for you guys and what you think, like in terms of the guest list for the bachelorette, like what if your friends don't like each other? Do you invite them anyways?
I mean, you know, that is a thing where it's like, you really have to do right by yourself in that situation. If it's going to be super fucking uncomfortable for you, then don't do that. But
I would tell the person who's making it uncomfortable to not come.
yeah, I think
Everybody
that's what I would do as
behave.
well. Yeah, I think that's what I would do as well. I mean, or I'd be like, maybe I would be like, okay, like let's try to hash this out before the bachelorette. Because I really don't want to be in a place where I have to like not invite someone or choose, or, you know, honestly, I'd probably just not invite both of you. And that sucks for me because I love you guys. So yeah, I think that's where I would land with that, is like, I might just be like, let's have an uncomfortable conversation and like get this over with because I need everybody to get along.
And one thing, I mean, I just thought about this recently, was my brother's now wife. That's like so cute to say. She had a small just bachelorette with her friends. They rented a house somewhere, but like she didn't invite me, which like I can't stress enough that how like I appreciate that. You know, like I'm a lot older than them. You know, I love her and all her friends. Obviously, we're super close. It's not, we have no tension. She's incredible. Like it just is like, I don't really want to go. I want you to be able to talk about fucking my brother. You know, I'm like the mom. Like I don't really need to be there. You know,
Right.
I'm still the sister of your husband.
Totally.
And, you know, we're really have a friendship. And now, of course, she's my sister-in-law. And, you know, every family's different. Like every family dynamic is different. I've been to bachelorettes where the sister of the groom is there and it's great. And she's really good friends with the bride, whatever. And then I've also been to ones where the sister of the groom is there and it is a little weird. I went to one where she just didn't really know anyone else. And it was just, it felt really off. But again, this is just, I cannot speak for all families. Every family is different. You're going to know what's best for you. I just want to say that it was like something that happened with me and my family. And it was so the right choice and so not a big deal. Her and I texted during the bachelorette. You know, I was like, oh my God, like, hope you guys are having so much fun. You know, like it's cool. But that was just, I want to bring it up. And I think that might sound weird to some people, but I don't think you always need to feel pressured to invite all these people you think you're supposed to invite. You know what I mean? Like
I'm the same way. I don't need to hear about her fucking Matt. So and my sister-in-law did the same thing. My sister-in-law we went to a big dinner in Pittsburgh. I didn't need to like go on a trip with her friends. We're not the same age. I'm not friends with those people. I didn't need it and I don't feel bad.
No, I wouldn't. I think that, yeah, also never underestimate the power of like not inviting someone. Like people are usually like, oh, good. I'm not obligated. Cool. Thank you for giving me this gift.
100%.
Right. Okay. Let's shift gears and talk about hooking up at a wedding, single people out there, how to hook up at a wedding. What do you have to say?
As far as like, I really think there should be more help. This is a tall order for brides, but or for grooms as well. It would be nice if it was a little more overt, the attempt to get your single friends together.
Yes, tell me who is going to be single at this wedding.
I honestly think it should,
account.
I think that it should be like kind of called out, like not even like a, hey, on the DL, like here are the people who are saying. I think it should be a fucking listserv that you put out to all your, hey guys, you guys should meet each other.
Yes. Go off.
No one would be embarrassed. No one would give a shit.
I need a shared Excel doc that has everybody that's going to be single. I want
check them out in advance.
Instagram accounts.
You can have a sense of humor about it too. You can be like, hey guys, like all my single friends, like here's who you should fuck at the wedding. If I received that, I'd be like, this is so considerate.
Like, I feel like it's like Bachelor in Paradise. Like they all talk to each other before they get to go on. They know who they're going to look for it in paradise. Like it should feel like that. Like I feel like as a single person, I shouldn't show up at a wedding for a close friend or a family member and be like, I don't know who that hot single guy is. I should know. You should have told me. Like,
right.
I don't
because well, my wedding, I definitely was asked by a lot of people, like, is that person single? Hey, is your friend Kate single? Is your friend John single?
Right.
And it's like, I was fielding questions. I was happy to field the questions, but from doing it, I was like, oh yeah, it's shitty of me to like not let people know in advance. Like,
but hear me out. Maybe this is a maid of honor role. Like maybe we need to assign this to someone in the bridal party.
Yeah.
Like, let's get a list together of all the singles and let's figure out how we mass distribute this. And so people can start scoping each other out, because it's a great opportunity to meet somebody. They're already vetted by your friends. They're there, you know, not that they can't be a terrible person, but like, you know, there's a common connection there. And it's a great opportunity to meet people. And I just feel like there's always so much going on at weddings. I feel like people can pass you by, you know, there's just all of a sudden it's the end of the night and you're like, oh, I wish I would have like talked to that guy, but I didn't have the in. I didn't know who he was. It's like, we got to get ahead of this.
What is the alternative? That we corral all these women on the dance floor? We just get all the single cows on the dance floor. We throw a bouquet at them. We're like, men, pick which one you want.
When they do that. That's so alienating.
I have not done that in forever.
I mean, I'll go up and do it forever. I could be married. I'd still go up there and go catch the bouquet.
No, I haven't been to a wedding where they've done. I haven't been to a wedding where they've done that in a long time.
It's so odd to me. And yes, people meet at weddings all the time. My brother's best friend is marrying my sister-in-law's best friend. They met at my brother's wedding.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
I know. So yeah, it's a perfect place to meet. I love that a bridesmaid would do this. Let's normalize.
Also, you could also just do cups. Like, I also thought about that. I was like, it would be funny if, like, you know, like single people had a different color cup or something, if you want to be more subtle about it. Like,
maybe you just like paint. Maybe you just like paint the front of their chest with like a big red stamp when they come into the wedding.
It's a singles mixer. I love this.
But if there's like solo cups that are like red and then other ones are blue or whatever, and like single people get it one color, I don't know. Something has to happen. We have to change this because it's just not.
I'm with you. I'm like going to this wedding in July, and I really would like to bring a date. Then Rayna was also like, well, what is there anybody at the wedding that you might be interested in? I mean, it's a friend that's really successful, high power guy. So we're like, that's the kind of caliber of guy I'd want anyway. Like, we were talking about it and I was like, I should be able to find this out. You know, this info should be available to me on the wedding website. Like, can the Knot start, or like Zola start doing a little thing? Like, here's the single guest.
Absolutely.
And we can, with our Instagram handles, and we can start stalking away, because I think that single people that are really looking and they want to date, you can make it awkward. You can literally, you know, put two people on a group DM and be like, hey, we think you guys should meet each other before the wedding. And then you're like, oh, guys, come on, that's embarrassing. But like low key, you love it. Like, make it awkward. I don't care.
Well, also like doing that. I mean, like a wedding is technically like live action Hinge. It's like, yes, you know that these people know your friends. Like, everybody knows each other. It's like friends of friends of friends. Like, you just make it happen. Like, make it work for the single people.
Also, not to make it like too serious, but like weddings are so shitty for single people sometimes, and it is so uncomfortable. And like, I know it's not your job as a bride to make sure that every single person feels good, but like, what a nice little touch. I feel like people spend so much time with these little touches. You talked about it in the show a little bit. This girl was like going to ride it on a canoe or have a fortune teller. Like, what a nice little touch to spend an hour and make the people that are coming by themselves like feel a little bit better. I like
it's true. I do too. I would love if like Zola or any of those sites just did it, just like didn't even announce it. They're just like, here it is. And it's just like built into the wedding website. And then it's like, oh, I guess we should fill this out.
But also, you know, this is just me, but like if I were sitting around with my fiance, I would love to discuss who could potentially be matches at the wedding.
Oh,
like,
that's my favorite thing.
Who doesn't love to play matchmaker?
Okay, hear me out. You know the card that they send where they're like, how many people are coming? What do you want as your dinner choice? I think there should also be like a box on that thing. Let's make it digital. Are you single? Are you looking?
Totally.
Do you want to fuck somebody at this wedding?
Yes.
Let's make it all digital.
Are you vaccinated?
Yes.
You know, like,
yes, I want the chicken.
Yeah. I like the filet and I've had the Pfizer. So,
and then I'd like the D. Okay. The positions I like are X, Y, and Z. Yes. I think we should do this digitally.
Yeah. I've had my first shot. I've had my second shot, and I want to get my third shot. And it's going to be of cum.
And I would like to get my ass ate. So those are what I'm looking for.
Butt stuff, yes or no?
Butt stuff, yes or no. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe to wrap up, I feel like we would be remiss to not bring this up, but a lot of people had to move or cancel their weddings because of COVID. And Ashley's brother and wife had some good advice about like how to deal with like telling people that they're not coming because you've like downsized the size or moved it or something. And just sort of like how to, manage that.
So the show was all before COVID, right? So
the show was pre-COVID. What did they end up doing? I don't know why I can't talk. Ashley
was the backbone of this wedding anyways.
Girl, I did so much.
Tell me.
But I didn't have to do this, but they pretty much had to cut it in half.
Mm-hmm.
It was really touch and go there for a while. Like there was a point where they thought it might have had to be cut down like to like a quarter, but it was about half and they did it all personally. I mean, they sent texts and my brother showed me a screenshot of someone who was, someone that I know that I would have loved to be at the wedding, but he just, he didn't make the cut per COVID. And it just said like, I hope you understand we've had to downsize and we'd love to see you. But, and everybody was super cool about it. They didn't obviously get any pushback, but they did they said it took a few hours, over a few days of just like reaching out to all those people individually. And I mean, you could obviously do, the height of COVID, you could have obviously done a mass email. Like, I don't think anybody would have been offended. I think could have done anything. I think people were being very understanding. But they just reached out to everybody personally. So,
that's nice.
Yeah.
I think that COVID in a strange backwards way, it can be kind of helpful with weddings because I think it forces you to sort of like strip away what ultimately didn't really matter. And you're then surrounded by the people who are in your inner circle. And like, I do think there's something really beautiful about the intimacy of some of these weddings affected by COVID. Like for example, my cousin, he had his wedding like postponed 3 different times, wanted a big party and ended up getting married to his wife in St. Lucia with just like the 2 of them and an officiant. And he said it ended up being like the most beautiful experience of his life. So and he's an extreme extrovert. So, I'm not saying that's going to be everyone's experience, but I do think there's something kind of special about like having to work within these parameters, even though obviously I'm not like pro pandemic. I'm not like it did so many good things for people. Of course not.
Yeah,
hardly. But if I was going to have to like see the silver lining, I think that would be it.
I mean, we were at the wedding and I felt like I couldn't imagine it being double that size. Like, you know what I mean? And I felt right. And I also feel like my brother was still really, and his wife, it took up a lot of time for them to have to talk to people. You know what I mean? Like, that's always what I see at the wedding. I mean, I remember a girlfriend of mine, she didn't ever get to eat dinner. Like they were supposed to, and they spent so much money in the food. And I mean, food aside, like, don't get me started. I feel like food just matters least, but like, I just want to dance. Like I just felt like my brother, like we were at the wedding and he hit the dance floor. He split his pants. It was a whole thing. But like there was a point where like our mom's favorite song, which is yeah, by Usher. But anyway, our mom's favorite song came on, we had told the DJ to play it and my mom and I were on the dance floor and like, Matt was nowhere to be found because he had to talk to people. Like he wasn't gone from the dance floor all night. We saw him enough, but I felt like that's what I fear the most. That's why I wouldn't want a big wedding because I want to enjoy my wedding. Like, yes. I think, so I can't imagine if he had double the people, like, I don't think he ever would have been able to like cut loose,
Yeah. And also like, it doesn't take that many people for it to feel like a party, like we always think like, oh, it needs to be huge for it to feel like a party. It's like, no, actually like
a smaller space.
I mean, and you've also had those nights. I mean, I've definitely had these nights where it's like, all your friends are like hanging out and then like, I don't know, someone's doing dishes and they like put on a song like while they're doing dishes. And then you kind of end up having like a little like kitchen dance party that happened to me kind of recently. Yes. And I was like, oh yeah, you can just like dance with 5 people. Like it doesn't have to be, you actually can, like, it doesn't take that much to get the party going if the music is fun.
I mean, like a 200, 300 plus wedding. It's so many people.
It is so many people.
You cannot possibly as a bride and groom really even talk to all those people. So then they were just there and you just never talk to them. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. Yeah. And with my wedding, my favorite part of my wedding weekend was the night before everybody had arrived. And the people who were there on that Thursday, we all like met at the bar at the hotel and we just had like the best time, just very low key, low pressure, whoever can come, great. If not, great.
That
And it
Thursday
was, like,
night. It's
that
always
Thursday
the Thursday night is
It's-
always the
it's the
best.
inner circle. It's the
good.
best group of people.
It's so good.
Yes.
So good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like we did, we had a really low key Thursday night, small intimate rehearsal on our Friday night. But it was so funny that by Saturday, I said to Rayna and my brother, I was like, I forgot that there's other people involved in this weekend because we've been with the same group 2 nights now, like 48 hours. Like I kind of forgot that there's a whole nother crowd coming. And then they almost feel like outsiders because you're like, we've been together,
We've been at this for days, guys.
Yeah. And that's why I love my friend Kate got married in Tulum, 40 people. We all were there all 3 nights. Like, we were
heaven.
a group the whole time. It was like we're on a big trip together.
I love that.
That's my dream,
sounds
guys.
amazing.
That's my dream.
Destination,
I
yeah.
love a destination where you're like stuck somewhere and like there's not a lot of stuff to do. It's not, I don't like, it's not like going to Boston. It's like people go to museums. They'll go out to dinner,
no,
like,
it's like we're at the hotel, we're at the pool, done.
Yes. I went to this wedding in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. I was bitching about it the whole time. I couldn't believe I had to go. I was so irritated. Then we got there and I was there for 3 days. It was so fun.
So fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. It's like summer
together.
camp.
Yes. That's
Yes.
such a good vibe.
It was
Love
great.
that.
That's my favorite. So can't recommend that enough. Small wedding and a destination. And I always
Sign
say,
me up.
invite 200 people, 30 will come. You'll get the gifts from everybody else.
That's what you think. It just depends on how popular you are. My friends try to do that.
Popular, Ashley.
That's what I'm saying. Like people want to come. Like I had
No.
friends that did the Mexico destination wedding thinking that 50 people would come. This was years ago, 2016 actually. And everybody wanted to come. Like it was just one of those it was one of those things of like they were like, no one's gonna come. It's like Mexico, it's expensive.
You're making me think this because everybody likes me so much.
Everybody wants a vacation.
No, and I'm old.
Damn
so
it,
like
I'm
my
so
friends,
well liked.
my friends like all have like a couple dollars now and they have kids they want to get away from. They will.
People want to get away from those kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Like don't plan a wedding.
You know what? I'm not having a wedding.
I would say don't plan a wedding post-pandemic with that mindset because everybody wants stuff to do. So if you can't go into it like, what's that TikTok? It's like, no one's going to know. They're not going to know. You're like, no one's going to come. No one's going to come. No one's going to come. We'll just do it in Austria. No one will come. And then like everybody comes. They're like, I'm vaxxed. All the boomers are there.
I've been stuck with my kids for a year. Fuck these little people. We're coming. All right. God damn it. All right. Well, Ashley's going to marry me at City Hall. That's what we'll do.
Aw. Sweet, guys.
Jamie, anything else you feel like you wanted to touch on wedding wise or show wise or
Show wise, I mean, I just watch The Wedding Coach. It's a good freaking time.
It really is. You are great at hosting it. It is really cute and funny and fun, Ashley, and I loved watching it. And our former guest is a guest on the show with you, Mateo Lane, who's a good friend of ours.
Love Mateo. Yeah, we have a great episode. We have there's a pregnant bride in our episode. It's a particularly
That's his
juicy
episode.
one.
Okay.
So the full show is on Netflix, and then tell people everywhere else they can find you and the show and anything else.
Okay, great. Yes, all 6 episodes of The Wedding Coach now streaming on Netflix, and you can find me on Instagram at really Jamie Lee. I'm on Twitter, but I'm not like active on there. So yeah, just Instagram at really Jamie Lee.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Jamie. We love chatting with you.
Oh, it was so fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
And you guys know where to find us, girlsgottaeatpodcast.com. There may be a few tickets left for Tampa and Orlando. No guarantees, but check those out if you want to come to those shows on May 5th and 6th. And follow us, Girls Gotta Eat Podcast on Instagram. I am Ash Hess on Instagram. Rayna is Rayna.Greenberg. Girls_Gotta Eat on Twitter and YouTube.com/girlsgottaeat. And actually, you will be hearing from us in just a few days as we have a bonus episode this week.
Have a good week, guys.
Bye.